Hello, and it's good to have you join us again on Maritime Radar. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu's administration launched the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy in August 2023, aiming to tap into Nigeria's vast maritime potential. With a long-awaited national policy finally unveiled, attention is turning to the consents of its implementation. The policy, which promises to harness over 853 kilometers of coastline, boost sustainable development, protect marine environment, contribute to Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP), ensure diversification, and generate jobs. However, concerns are rising about whether the plan will be effectively executed. Looking at the critical need for a robust implementation framework that engages private sector players, promotes sustainable fisheries, and ensures environmental accountability. This blueprint is expected to transform one of Nigeria's most underutilized sectors. But are there concerns? Assessing the 10-year national policy of marine and blue economy and issues hampering on trade facilitation are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I am Norma Obiaso. The port plays a key role in connecting nations, trades, and economies. This has a profound impact on trade volume and transport costs. However, the sector is confronted with many challenges, such as new standards and modernization to achieve international best practices, especially in the areas of security, safety, environmental management, port operation and services, the ever-evolving and changes in information technology, inter- and intra-regional competition, the ever-increasing size of ships, cargo handling equipment, and traffic growth, amongst others. Africa must have the ability to cope with such rapidly advancing realities in order to benefit from the trade opportunities. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, will lead Nigeria's delegation to the 3rd United Nations Ocean Conference, scheduled to take place from June 9th to 13th, 2025 in Nice, France. Oyetola will represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the high-level global event, which will bring together world leaders, policymakers, scientists, and stakeholders to accelerate action towards ocean conservation and sustainable use of marine resources. The minister will also participate in the commemorative events of the 2025 World Oceans Day on June 8th, underscoring Nigeria's commitment to global efforts aimed at addressing the urgent challenges facing the world's oceans and coastal ecosystems. Oyetola said that the ocean is an indispensable part of Nigeria's national life and economy, especially given the country's vast coastal resources and the strategic role of the maritime sector in trade, transportation, food security, and climate resilience. The Nigerian delegation will engage in high-level dialogues, expert panels, and bilateral meetings aimed at strengthening international cooperation and attracting investment in sustainable marine infrastructure, ocean science, and coastal resilience. The event is being convened under the theme Accelerating Action and Mobilizing All Actors to Conserve and Sustainably Use the Ocean. The theme reflects the growing international consensus on the need for decisive and inclusive measures to combat ocean degradation, protect marine biodiversity, and advance the sustainable blue economy, especially for coastal and island nations. France and Singapore have signed an enhanced maritime partnership agreement, marking a major step forward in bilateral maritime cooperation. The agreement was formalized by French Minister for Transport, Philippe Tabarot, and Singapore's Acting Minister for Transport and Senior Minister of State for Finance, Geoffrey Seo. Key initiatives under the agreement include joint pilot projects and industry leaders. One highlight is a biomethane bunkering trial in Singapore involving global shipping company CMA CGM, aimed at advancing green fuel alternatives. On the digital front, Singapore's Maritime and Port Authority will partner with France's Haropa Port and the Port of Marseille Force to improve port call optimization. Trials with CMA CGM vessels will test digital tools for ship-to-shore data exchange, streamline port clearance, and enhanced accuracy using global standards. The agreement also seeks to foster maritime innovation by connecting startups, companies, and investors for both countries through platforms like Singapore's Pier 7-1 Smart Port Challenge, France's Z-Box, and the Landing Pad program.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. Trade agreements hold immense potential. They also present challenges for Nigerian freight forwarders, which includes complying with varying rules of origin, documentation requirements, and product standards across trade blocs. This can become complex and time-consuming. Freight forwarders must stay informed and up to date on the ever-changing trade regulations within these agreements to provide efficient logistic solutions to their clients. Moreover, trade agreements can influence cargo flows and demand patterns, affecting the choice of transportation routes and logistic strategies. Understanding these shifts and adapting to the changing trade dynamics is vital for freight forwarders to maintain a competitive edge. Our guest, Dr. Olusegun Musa, he is the Deputy President, Air Logistics for the National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAF, and the CEO, Widescope International Logistics Limited. In this episode, shares on the newly approved national policy for the marine and blue economy, issues hampering trade facilitation. This and many more after this short break. Please don't go away. It's good to have you join us on the show, sir.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you.
So let's start this conversation looking at the 10-year national policy of the marine and blue economy. How did it come to you?
Yes, thank you very much. I think the first thing is to acknowledge the fact that government has taken the bold step to make sure that the yearnings and the expectation of state actors are coming into reality by putting the 10 years transport plan policy in place. We can't have it perfect immediately. It has to be a case of continued test running, appraising performance, and ensuring that we improve on it. It's better we start from somewhere than not starting at all. And I want to believe that it's a welcome development. And if you look at the components of the 10 years plan, you notice that majorly what we've been talking about is policy stability, which has been taken care of, where both foreign direct investors and indigenous investors can have a stable policy and can have an agreement with government under a favorable terms, and that is enough to sustain the policy. And I believe it also gives it highlights the potentials in investing in transport sector in Nigeria. It also accommodates the area of integration, mode of transportation, integrating mode of transportation, which simply means intermodal transport system, where all the modes can complement each other and operate in a symbiotic way. It has taken care of expansion, infrastructure expansion, investment in infrastructure, and these are what we've been asking for a very long time. You know, we have a very huge deficit in infrastructure, transport infrastructure. And if you have huge deficit, for you to drive transport will be very, very difficult. It has highlighted the area of rail infrastructure improvement, the road infrastructure improvement, the water infrastructure improvement. We can't have it 100% immediately, but by the time we start implementing, I believe the government will have the political will to start the implementation. Then we begin to appraise performance and begins to see what we need to inject until we perfect it, just like is obtainable in every part of the world.
Do you think the timing is right, or we had a delay? And then do you see the minister have capacity plus the implementers, which are the agencies under the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, do you have any concerns that they won't be able to follow through?
Yeah, there's a saying that better late than never. There's never a time that is too late. Like you've mentioned, political will. Who are the people to pretend over the policy? And I think that is the area of worry that you've actually mentioned. We are looking at government as part of the policy content. We should make it mandatory that whoever is going to superintend over the ministry and the implementation of the policy must be wired in knowledge. But it's something for you to have the blueprint. It's another thing for you to have whoever is going to superintend over it having the knowledge of implementation. The agencies, head, the parastatals, and the civil servant, yes, they have the on-the-job understanding and comprehension. But whoever is going to superintend as a minister must be integrated into the policy, must be someone that is a technocrat in that field, because transport is highly technical. We cannot just use it to compensate any politician to come and superintend. We need an expert. We need a technocrat that knows the onions to superintend over this industry and implementation of the policy. That one is jamming.
Oh, your concerns are valid. But so let's move away from the national policy and let's come home. Home for you is the freight forwarders. We see a number of issues or challenges seem to be affecting the Nigerian freight forwarding sector. How do we begin to address these foundational issues, or what we will call structural failures, that is hampering trade facilitation in our ports, making us not competitive, making us not having enough cargo throughput? How do you begin to address these issues?
Yeah, number one, we need to understand that the traffic is improving and increasing regularly, and there's need for government to begin to see how we can expand the ports. We must expand the ports, we must expand the corridor, and we must develop other ports. If we do not have capacity to develop ports, we can develop lighter terminals. So when the vessel berths, they discharge at the ports and they use what we call barges and tugboats to take it to the lighter terminals. We need to expand the ports. What we have now is unexpected congestion. We need to dredge other corridors too and ensure we have enough ports to accommodate. Like what is obtainable in other climes, we have where we call dry ports. We have same in Nigeria here, but they are not functional. They cannot be functional because they can only be piloted through rail. When we proposed to President Obasanjo in 2001, I was privileged to be part of people that proposed to Obasanjo there is need for us to rehabilitate our rail sector. We never talked about passengers rail. We concentrated on what we call cargo coaches, because we do not have deficit in passenger movement. The deficit and the huge deficit we have that is affecting the cost of commodities is that of cargo deficit. So we see rail as the best mode that can pilot the,
because it moves in
high volume at a reasonable cost. So we propose that let's rehabilitate this rail in order to ensure that we increase the trade activities within Nigeria. If you remember vividly, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, up to early 90s, what drives our economy is rail. From any part of the country, once your produce are ready, you take it to the terminals. It will be ready to Edo in Lagos here. When it gets to Edo, the buyers that we buy for local distribution are waiting. They will load immediately. The rail arrives at the terminals for local distribution. The one that is going for export consumption will follow the train down to the ports. The vessel is waiting and warehouses are there to discharge if the vessels are not available. It makes trade to be very seamless.
There's also been the concerns of customs being under pressure for revenue generation as regards as against pushing trade facilitation. What should customs do to be able to do this balance, push trade facilitation, then also get this revenue generation? They've also wheeled out a lot of policies. How do you think that these policies have been able to ensure trade facilitation or make our port efficient? We have a lot of them. We have BODOGU, we have the GTI, we have the authorized economic operator, we have so many of them. How have this fared?
Just like you've mentioned, everybody is getting more confused with customs. Everybody is getting confused on a daily basis. It's becoming more like every few months, the custom will come with a new innovation, even without finishing implementing one. And people are getting worried. We are not having problem with all these innovation that customs are bringing. The reason why BODOGU is coming up is because the fountain has failed. And the custom, in the wisdom of the leadership, believes that we can do something that will be more indigenous. But regardless of what the custom management is doing, if we don't have automated system, it's a waste of resources. I've called attention of the CG of Customs severally. The custom system must be automated. The critical actors don't want to know who is the custom going to treat my job. They don't want to have interface with the customs. We want the system to be fully automated so everybody can stay within the comfort zone of their offices.
Devoid of human
interface. So we can do whatever we do. And all these custom license issuance or custom license with names is a Stone Age approach. The custom needs to advance beyond this analog thinking. We need to see a custom that is 21st century compliance, where my license does not need to carry my name. It's because the custom license comes in my name, that's why custom can say, oh, this state actor is not supporting the customs policy, we must do something to frustrate him. If the customs license does not come in my name, it's just a code. And the code must be long enough that nobody will be able to memorize it. Talk less of saying, oh, this is a so-so company's code.
And that's what technology is supposed to do.
That's it. It must be fully automated.
Okay, we are still on that customs, whatever, but we are due for a break. When we return, we'll be looking at more on what customs should do as regards technology. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Read, and I still have with me Dr. Olusegun Musa. He is the Deputy President, Air Logistics National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders. Before we went on that break, you were talking about how technology would have made custom processes seamless. The question will be, why is customs not embracing this? Because they keep talking about technology. What is missing?
Yeah,
or is there something special that they gain when they do this interface rather than embracing this technology devoid of any form of human interface?
Yeah, I think the major problem I'm suspecting is probably a very large number of the officers are not digitally compliant. And if the customs should go into full compliance, it's going to actually affect a lot of them. So I want to believe that the custom is trying everything humanly possible to make sure everybody is on the same page. But implementing fully digital system is still a big challenge to customs.
But that is hampering efficiency.
Yeah, it's seriously hampering.
Causing congestion, causing delays.
Seriously hampering.
But this is just what training can address. So why are they not embracing training? It's not a rocket science getting people to know how to use
it is not
the computers.
It is not.
So why are they not embracing that?
No, I think what the custom needs to do, because it's not a kind of looking down on the effort of the management, is about if you've gotten it, you flaunt it. If truly all their officers are truly compliant digitally and can operate under automation, let the custom start implementing it. It's not a verbal discussion, it's about practical. They should practicalize it. Let the management of customs start the automation. I bet you immediately the customs start automation, shipping company has no hidden place again. Terminal operator has no hidden place again. All of them, we complied. We're talking about single window. And I told people single window is just a platform that brings everybody together for interaction. If individual actors, state actors, on that single window are not efficient, the essence of single window will be defeated.
Okay, so let's go to another indigenous issue, which is the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, popularly known as CVFF, established alongside the Cabotage Act in 2003. How can it boost indigenous participation in Nigeria? There's another promise. It's been 22 or 23 years. We've been hearing disbursement of the CVFF. Now we have another promise, and the date is August. Why do you think this promise is different from those made earlier?
The issue of Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund is highly pathetic. And I don't know the interest of whoever is to pretending over it. At a forum organized by media outfits in Nigeria, I was a guest speaker there, and I told them the money is no longer there. And what NIMASA is doing is to rake in another new revenue into the pool. But unfortunately, as we raise revenue, my estimation, as at the last time, runs into trillions of dollars. And I challenge the DG of NIMASA that if what I mentioned is not true, it should come up with audited accounts of what has been collected into that pool. And let's confirm it with the audited report of the CBN that is the custodian. It runs into trillions of dollars. I want to believe the money has been used for something else. And they are only delaying so as to rake in new money that will be disbursed. So I want to believe that the government do not have that political will. And the government is only interested in making money, but not disbursing money. Unfortunately, people need to call the attention of government that this particular collection, this pool, does not belong to government. It belongs to private actors. It came into limelight in the days of NMA, Nigerian Maritime Authority. When we proposed to government that government cannot dominate the space, then we're having a Nigerian shipping line, we're having NSL and the rest of them, and the government seemed to be the major operator. So the indigenous actors came together and said, look, government, there must be a way to bring us into this industry that we have wide knowledge in, so that we can also operate as a major actor, like it's being done all over the world. And because government does not have the resources to support us, because shipping globally is capital intensive, government does not have that resources, and we don't have banks that can fund us. That was why collectively we proposed that a percentage from all foreign operators should be collected into a pool that we indigenous can be able to access. in procuring us.
And now they are being deprived of.
And now that it transformed from shipbuilding and ship acquisition fund to Cabotage Vessel Finance Fund, the money is piling up. Ordinarily, there must be a kind of directive that every 5 years there must be a disbursement. For the past 2 decades, nothing has been disbursed.
And now there's another promise. There have been several promises.
I can bet you, come August, there won't be any disbursements. There's going to be another excuse.
Because you said the money is not there.
The money is not there. They're only trying to rake in more money now into the pool.
So if they don't get that money by
If they don't get it, they will shift the date again.
It's so sad, but maybe we should be hopeful. But since you said the money is not even there, that's even the concerns.
No, the money is not there. I think recently the minister is talking about, either the minister or the DG of the minister is talking about 700 billion, which is a far cry to what is estimated to be there. And if that's actually their amount, then they should give us the audited reports.
So, but who? But the indigenous people who have been contributing this money, what have they done? Don't they have record of what should be there? Estimated record.
The collection is from every vessel that berths in Nigeria, foreign vessel that berths in Nigeria. So a percentage is contributed to the pool. So nobody can have, you have so many vessels coming on a daily basis. So individual cannot have that record. The record is between the MASA and the CBN. So both of them should give us the audited reports to convince Nigerians that it does not worth trillions of dollars.
Because that 700 doesn't cut it.
It's a far cry for 22 years.
This is a fine place to end this interview. We hope and we believe, looking at the impact the CVFF is going to make to our national development, just as you realize that this time, this promise will be kept. It's been Dr. Olusegun Musa. He is the Deputy President and Logistics of the National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, also known as NAGAF. He's also the CEO, Widescope International Logistics Limited. We thank you very much for your time and your thoughts and the concerns you've raised. Government is listening, and I hope that they will prove us wrong this time. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And that's our show this week. I hope that this episode was able to address what may be the missing link in the national policy for the marine and blue economy. Join us every week on Maritime Radar as we explore potentials that will ensure the development of the maritime sector in Africa. You can also expect the latest in global and local maritime news, plus industry insights right here. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Many thanks for watching, and see you again next week.